Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan, and here we do a little bit of all things creepy. We tell scary stories, we talk about scary movies, and today we are talking about one of the scariest dolls to ever exist in the history of ever. So if all that sounds cool to you, I used to upload daily, now I do it Monday through Friday. It will switch back to daily soon, but that's still a lot of uploads. So if you like creepy stuff, I would love to have you here. So listen, we have to talk about Annabelle. I've seen so many of my friends that make paranormal, especially content, but just horror content in general, talking about her. So let's get into my personal thoughts and also the facts of what's happening on this little world tour she's going on. It's not called that, but essentially the Warren Museum and the team behind her is bringing her around to different festivals and conventions and outings and things like that this year to let people experience the occult that maybe can't travel to the museum. And I know the museum was closed for a really long time too. Now, here's the facts of what's happening. Annabelle is being traveled around the United States. She's made several stops now. It started earlier this year and it's going to end later this year. I don't think it's going into next year. I could definitely be wrong on that, but I know it's pretty consistently through this year. She's had breaks, but she's pretty well traveled. So, that is true. It is also true that anytime she has went anywhere, something strange has happened, whether it be in that city, in that county, or just in that state in general. Something's happened. We have had really bad storms. We have had plantations burned down. We have had 911 systems go down. We have had car accidents, just a whole bunch of stuff. And it has happened as she has crossed over into those state lines. Something else that did happen was the tour manager, organizer, Dan Rivera passed away whenever he was in Gettysburg with Annabelle quite recently. That is true. Something else that is true, this is not the first time Annabelle has been taken around. Ed and Lorraine Warren both did this. They used to take not just Annabelle, but several of their objects around to schools and seminars and things like that to show items of the occult to people that would never make it to Connecticut to see them because they believed everyone deserved to, and they wanted to show these objects and show how real paranormal things are. So if you see people saying that this is all well-deserved, especially when they're talking about the passing of Dan, because the Warrens warned them not to take her out of the box, They took her around too. I like to think these people know what they're doing. They know how to make Annabelle safe and comfortable, and they know how to make everyone else visiting her safe as well. But at the end of the day, there's going to be hiccups. She's a very haunted doll. So, I want to first talk about the passing of Dan because this has really upset me. I actually made a video about it on TikTok. I'll insert it here. It's going to spoil what I have to say, but I'll just summarize it if you don't want to watch that. I have been asked countlessly. I don't know why you guys want my opinions on this, but I will give them to you. For those of you who don't know, Dan was actually the tour manager for Annabelle's little things she's been doing this year. So where she visited Texas and Georgia. I think she was in Georgia. She was in West Virginia, and now she is in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So on July 13th, police get a call from a local hotel because there is a deceased man there that is Dan. The police said nothing unusual or suspicious happened involving his passing, but as far as I know, he was like a healthy 54-year-old, so hopefully they are looking into it just to make sure. I am seeing video after video and comment after comment of people being like, well, yeah, you took Annabelle out against the Warrens' wishes. Like, that was gonna happen to you eventually. Let's not do that. Here's the thing. I didn't know this either until I actually made a video about Annabelle touring the country in the first place, and people let me know, so I'm letting other people know that might not know. The Warrens actually did take Annabelle around while they were living. They wanted people that could not afford to travel to their home in Connecticut to experience the occult and to see proof of that side existing. This is not a new thing. I like to think and hope that these people know what they're doing and they know how to keep Annabelle and everyone else safe. But it really makes me sad to see people saying like, oh yeah, he had it coming. This is someone's family, guys. Stuff happens. It's really sad. And I understand that there is a lot of stuff following Annabelle wherever she goes. The most recent one was the 911 systems going down in Pennsylvania where she was. Emergency systems have been drastically budget cutted. They have been gutted recently. So, I mean, it could have a creepy supernatural element to it, but really it's just that. It's budget cuts and gutting, and stuff is going to happen like that. It is a little creepy that it happened when Annabelle got there, but we're unfortunately going to see stuff like that probably all over the country. But that is my thoughts. I don't think Annabelle had anything to do with his passing. I'm sure he treated her with nothing but respect. He had been a friend of that whole team's for years and years. He knew how to be around her and how to respect her. At least I would like to think and hope. So let's just be mindful when we're talking about real people losing their lives. That's my 2 cents. Dan's passing had nothing to do with Annabelle. I do hope they autopsy him because I'm sure something was going on. But to blame a doll that he probably loved her, I don't know. I don't know how he felt about her. I feel like you can't really work with that stuff without loving the objects. If you do, shame on you. You shouldn't work with an object unless you love and respect her. But I feel like blaming Annabelle kind of takes away from the fact that someone actually did pass away. Someone's son, someone's brother, someone's dad, I don't care, passed away. And you just being like, well, that's what he gets for bringing Annabelle around. No, we're not going to do that. And I've seen a lot of people do that. People are commenting that on my TikTok video. No. He doesn't deserve that, and that's not what happened. That's wild. That's a wild thing to say. So my thoughts on Annabelle being paraded around the country, I've been asked that a lot. I think it's cool. Here's the thing, and I kind of see it from the perspective that Ed and Lorraine Warren, when they started their foundation, for the reason of doing it, if you don't have the means to travel, you should still get a chance to see these objects. Annabelle is an infamously famous, she is a famous haunted doll, okay? There have been how many movies made about her? Spirit Halloween has merch. There's Annabelle merch everywhere. I have an Annabelle doll from the movie on my bookshelf right now. It would be so cool to meet the doll, and not everyone has the time and money to travel to Connecticut to that museum to meet her. So I think it's really cool they're bringing her around. It's also a really good teaching tool. Now, when it comes to Annabelle, I have conflicting thoughts about her being as haunted as she is. I know the evidence behind it is like a little not on solid ground, but I do think regardless of whether or not she started off being super haunted, she is now, because enough people have came around her with fear and belief. I mean, there's definitely something there now. That is a very haunted doll. So is it possible that some of these tragedies she's helping? I mean, of course it's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but not the passing of Dan, and not all of them for sure. Some things are a coincidence. All of them? No. So I think she definitely had a hand in a few of those. But I am actually going to get the opportunity to meet her in October, and I'm so excited. I will be attending Scarefest in Kentucky, and I will be meeting the Annabelle. I am not going to be filming it. I will come on here and tell you guys all about my experiences, but I will not be taking a picture of her, and I will not be filming it because I have heard she doesn't like that, and I'm not taking my chances. So we're not going to be doing that. But anyways, this is a pretty short video. I've been asked my opinions, and I've talked a little bit about it on TikTok, but I felt like just sitting down and word vomiting at you guys. So let me know your opinions in the chat. Be very respectful, and do keep in mind that someone did pass away while you're in that chat. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.